Alright, man, this Rico coming straight out of Chicago, man. You know, we definitely support the ZyX movement, man. You gotta come out here and come visit, man. Like, it's more to Chicago than killing, man. Rico, coming live, man.
You can trust now, trust and believe. Watch us take over. Yeah, all this shit that you see, we gon' make our way to the top. You can trust, yes, trust and believe. Watch us take over. Yeah, my daddy jumping differently. We found the wins in all the games that they try to play.
Where we at, bro?
Whoa, we in Chicago, Southeast End.
We find a way.
We're on the same property, basically, as Farrakhan's mosque. Y'all peep that out right now. Huge.
Shot we made it, family. We out here in Shot Chicago, just saw brother Islam, right here, right there. We here, baby, Black Power, Black Excellence.
My name Brother Rob. Came to check out my guy QueButter today. Had to come and show support. The man know exactly what he's talking about. I feel empowered to use his examples. I'm gonna be checking out the website, pick up all the information, and I'm gonna give it to my shorties so that when they get out in the world, they gonna use their collective intellectual capital to empower our people, man. I feel so blessed to meet the brother. You know what I'm saying? I shop with his man, and I grabbed the little hat. You know what I'm saying? That's Black Power.
You already know, beautiful people. So, this section of my discussion is dedicated to as much credit information as possible. I know a lot of times I don't even speak directly on credit enough. The way a lot of people want to hear it, so I'm trying to break it down as best as possible. So, straight credit. Credit is the ability to obtain goods and services and off the faith that you will pay them back in a future time. That's why I say that credit is all about business. If you have there's a brother that came with one of the vendors, Jeff Athletics. He does a great job of printing shirts and he has a dope clothing line. But he needs to get thread, he needs to get shirts, he needs to get vinyl materials. And so all of these different things can be given to him by the people vendors that's connected to his business, based off the faith that he will actually be able to sell his products. Now, a lot of times in our community, unfortunately, we've been really focused on a lot of artistic services, but when it comes to the real foundation businesses, this works hand in hand. If you're in the real estate and you're doing renovations and rehabs, you need Home Depot, you need distributors, you need transportation, so they know, and these people know, as long as it's fulfilled in a certain amount of time, it will be handled and you will make your money. That's very important to know that. Credit score. Your credit score is a numeric representation of your ability to maintain the types of accounts that you have on your credit reports. There's 3 typical credit reporting agencies that most of us deal with: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Equifax is on the East Coast, I believe they're in Georgia. TransUnion is in the Midwest, and almost state they're in. Experian is on the West Coast. Companies have to pay to have their information that they have about you posted on your credit report. So Equifax charges, I believe, $800, don't quote me, $800 per 100 accounts one business has. So it's a very important fact to remember. So Verizon typically has almost 50 to 100 to 300,000, 200,000 clients per state. Comcast, who knows how many clients Comcast has? T-Mobile, Sprint, some of these corporations have a large amount of clients. And just so you know that every 800 people, they have to pay $800 to have that posted just on one. So for 100 people to be on all 3, it's almost $2,500 to be able to post just 100 people. This is why a lot of times our small black businesses don't have the ability to be represented on here because they can't afford to pay that monthly or biannual subscription cost going forward. So their job, and it was based off of the concept of Equifax, is to report the types of the habits and the history of specific type of accounts. The type of accounts are revolving accounts, such as credit cards, service credits, such as like credit you may have with AutoZone or a manufacturer, installment loans, mortgages, student loans, and charge cards. Charge cards are typically cards that you have to pay off within the month amount of time that you have them. Now, going forward, these accounts begin the procedure. They have procedures attached to it. So the first procedure to create an account, which we all know, is an application. In order for you to fill out that application and be proven that it's you, they need a form of ID. So anytime the credit reporting agencies have any of these accounts submitted to you, to them, they're supposed to have, where you at, your consent. So you'll be written somewhere on the application that you get whatever organization or company the consent to read your credit report and post your credit report. It's illegal to do it without your consent. Then going forward, they have to have a copy of your ID and a copy of the application and or the contract. Typically the application is your contract, but if not, they have to have that in addition to your application. Every single account you have in your credit report has to have this at the beginning of your vote. It's almost like a charge. Anytime you're charged by the government for a criminal act, it's supposed to be an accusatory instrument. So if it's not that there, then how can someone charge you for a crime with an accusatory instrument? That could be a witness affidavit, some type of affidavit, some type of witness, something that says that we believe you committed this crime. In this world, in order for this account to have you, your T-Mobile account, which you say you owe money on, that should be supported with this. Right? So that's the first part. Now going forward, as they monitor these type of accounts, what they look for when they create a score. The score is a numeric representation of your the maintenance of those accounts. It goes from 350 to 900, right? And the credit basing is off of your history, inquiries, types of accounts, and debt to credit ratio. So I had a lot of people say I have a 750 and I own a home. I'm like, all right, do you have a mortgage or do you own a home? Big difference. You own a home, it's not going to be reflected on your credit. There's a lot of people, now you're buying a home and you have a mortgage, you know, if you have a death certificate, a long-ass installment loan mortgage, then you have it on there. But to brag about your mortgage is to brag about being in debt. So if you're bragging about $1 million mortgage, you're bragging about $1 million worth of debt. You're bragging about your student loan, you're bragging about the amount of debt you have on your student loan. The reason why student loans and mortgages are so important, going back to what we had discussed earlier, student loans involve the potentiality for our community to make money in a very large capacity in the future. And student loans, I'm sorry. Damn, I looked down. Student loans, mortgages, I'm sorry, edit. Mortgages invest into the real estate of the country. And essentially, everything's on top of the real estate. So the more they invest into the country's land, the greater the value the land will have. And so that's why mortgages and student loans are treated slightly different. Just like FHA loans for mortgages or small SBA loans for businesses. They consider it to be something that goes toward the livelihood of the country. Going forward, authorized user is the other type of account that you may see on your report. An authorized user is being sold as trade lines. So if you go online and look up trade lines, people are selling them left and right, and the idea that you can add someone else's credit account, one of these accounts, on your credit, and that will benefit you. So the whole concept of this comes from the fact that in the 70s, when consumer credit was being sold as a new product, white women were complaining that they weren't being afforded credit because they weren't given the jobs to be able to create the position for them to have the credit worthiness. So the government said, we'll add the authorized user if they're active to this stuff. So that pretty much means that you can add your son onto your credit account. If you have a card with Capital One, you can call Capital One and say, I want to add my son as my point of credit, but I don't want him to mess it up, so I don't want him to have a credit card. So I want the card to come to me. There's nothing your son can do to affect your credit with that card. It's a very, keep building it up. And so I'm completely against buying trade lines. Yes, you can go out and sell them and buy them, but to me, I'd rather us develop them and create the relationship between us to have that synergy, growing that level of responsibility where I know I might have added you on my credit, and normally I'd be like, man, listen, I'm not gonna pay this month, but I'm like, you know what? Yo, can you hold me down with a payment this month? And look, it's gonna be on your credit. Or it might be saying, look, you got a store, and you need that to credit, but they need you to boost your score up a little higher just so that way you can get that small business loan. They may be able to say that. This goes further into that to say sharing money on paper. In the Jewish community and certain communities, they share money on paper, meaning that, oh, you need to show income? Cool, I got $1 million. Put that in the account, I'll be back in 3 months. That's real credit. Because I know you're not going to touch my money. I know you're going to do exactly what you did, because the reality is you're going to get way more money with a piece of paper than stealing my $1 million. That's why we have to create the landscape in which the faith, and I'm an atheist, that word faith used in certain scenarios is very important, because of the level of belief and that we have in a person, and the belief is based off of our experience. And for business, our experience will be based off of certain things. How much money they make, how long they've been in business, how many clients do they have, what type of reputable clients do they have, does their landlord or the business location they have is owned by them. These are the things that's going to go into determining, you know what I added on. One of the sisters in the land was like, I'm just not adding anybody onto my credit. They got to be pro-black, they got to be progressive, and they got to be trying to open up a business. So that's all I want to hit, sister. That's all I want to hit. You see what I mean? And that's the mentality that we want. Now she's actively looking to help people. And we keep throwing this in there. I've only been doing this since this beginning of the year. Imagine what this looks like in 2 years. Every person in this room, all the educators involved in this school, great credit. The gauges, now the score is one thing. Score is one thing. And you just have to maintain your future application and usage of your score. But I'll take a 550 with $1 million worth of available credit in a heartbeat. And there's tons of people. There's a brother who I work with. He got $25,000 from PayPal as a loan, and his credit score is a 450, and he has no business credit. So again, it depends on the relationship you have with the bank, how much money you have in the bank, and how long you've been with the bank. Because each individual has their credit. Just like the street, you might have shot everybody in the hood, you robbed everybody over here, but you treat him good. So you can say what you want about him, but you're going to give him what he needs, because his credit good with you. And that's the way it works. When your credit, it looks crazy, but you've been maintaining your account with Discover like it was your baby. So while your credit score's going down, Discover's going to let, look, you always pay us on time, you use your card on time, we understand how it goes. We're going to increase your limit. We're going to give you some more money over there. No, we're going to give you a different credit card, so you can have 2 accounts from us now.
We here with the Black Account Patrol with Brother Q, you know what I'm saying? QueButter from Zion, tore it up. Put us down on the knowledge about the credit. I mean, man, what else can we do? You know what I'm saying? We got to get right. The brother giving out the knowledge and giving it for free. Support, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take unity for us to come together to do what we got to do. We got to do it together. Straight up.
All the right, you used to have a good bank account. They monitor, the credit reporting agencies are the most anal friend and bougie friend you can think of. That's just critical. Why would you wear that shirt? Why would you wear that shirt on a Tuesday when it's hot outside? Why would you even come in on a Tuesday? Why would you wear those shoes on a Tuesday? Why would you do that? It's just straight. That's not that clean. That's how they do it. And when you really think about the rationale behind it, even me as I've been traveling and doing it, there is a certain type of thought process that goes into people who have developed good credit. They're not risk takers. You see what I mean? Risk takers jump out the window. They're very much cyclist-based people. They work on the clock, they stay on the clock, they don't jump out the window. They pay their stuff on time, ahead of time. That's how my mother is. My mother is cycle-based. She's like, no, it means. And so the bill, she's never had an issue with bills. My father, yo, I read everything. My queen will tell you, don't let the wire come out with me in the studio. I might bring a wall down just to figure out how to get the wire. I don't man, but I gotta do it. If I don't get this right now, ask my people who's in New York about this tour. I jumped all the way out the way to let you. For real, you really gonna go tour right now? You sure? It was a little tight right now. You sure the studio ain't doing that? You know, yes. Don't worry, I'll pay the credit cards back. Let's do it. Jump. My wife like, man, you jumping again? You know, so it's that thought process that goes into it. Some of the people who I've met with the greatest credit, they don't process like that. They process, you know, in increments. And so it's up to us to see that. There's a website called Credit Wars. And that really brought my mindset and into a terms where I was like, hold on, I started seeing white people's accounts. I never knew what white people's credit was like. Most black people don't. So when they tell them, I'm like, yo, when I tell them I have 13 credit cards now, and my goal by the end of the year is to be at 25, they're like, yo, you're broke. I'm like, yo, bro, this is average stuff. This is not Sam's Club, Home Depot, Sears, Lowe's, Walmart, Target, Granger's, what was it? One of them floral spots, and some other stuff in a Texaco card. These are BP cards. Those are regular cards. Those are not even credit. That's just regular Middle America. That could be $60,000. Woman in Georgia says, you haven't even did those yet. Credit boards. It's a forum website. You can go in there, go to the forum, and you can see all types of information about how they got applied, what they applied with. That's when I started seeing the score, because you'll see somebody on there with a 650 and get applied with $60,000. Then you'll see somebody on there with a 750 and only got $1,000. They only got credit boards. And so that gave me an insight that we're not privy to. And we have to see that to know that these children are coming out of homes and their parents have 5 cards with $20,000 each on them. So when you put authorized user concept in a black home, first of all, the black home don't have that much credit. And it's in debt, so you got $3,000 in credit and $1,700 of it's in debt. So then you adding your son onto something that don't even look that good. The white families, they got 5 accounts, $10,000, $20,000 in it. Credit cards. Now when they add Junior onto it, Junior's coming out at 17, $75,000 in credit. We go to the same college, got the same student loan, but when you went to Capital One, they gave you $40,000 card. They gave you a better car. So we went to college, we knew the cards, and all of these things add up to profitability. The type of car you got in college made you attract better friends, so we're gonna have better connections when you go out there. You can get the credit cards and buy your books and then return them. You never spend no money on the books. There's a lot of different things that credit in college does. And not saying that we want to use it, but it's a business. And we're applying it in certain ways where you may be able to take the credit and say, I don't want to take a student loan like that. I'm going to go to state school and I'm going to use it that much like this. There's ways to make it use to advance yourself way higher, even down to business. You see what I mean? 17-year-old, 20-year-old Johnny is starting off with $40,000, $50,000 in credit. Not including Sam's Club, Walmart, all these different spots. Let's not forget, Walmart sells guns. $500 in guns in Walmart or one of these sports stores. Let's just remember, I ain't met a black person with a gun club credit card yet. When you put that in, and they start at $500 in credit. Then Beretta's $185. 2 boxes of shells. So just put that, you can get 2 guns, no money spent. How are we going to war with that? Let's just put it in perspective. You see what I mean? We're going to business. You got $10,000 in Walmart credit. I don't got none. Your store looks better just cause. You got the best water machine, the best this, you got that thing, you got $10,000 in Walmart credit. Walmart and Home Depot is standard to today's business. And IKEA. You have those 3 credits, those 3 businesses, you look good. Your house looks better than everybody else's. Your business is better than everybody else's. Home Depot, IKEA, Lowe's, Office Max, these are basic things that we need in our community. And we're not starting off on the right foot to be able to enable us to jump and flourish the way we want to. And again, it's also because the information is being stifled. So our potentiality isn't growing. And so we have a community that's completely attached to financial literacy, but it has no actual means of learning financial literacy. There is no potential. You can have 100 Oprahs, 1,000 Oprahs, there is no potential. She won't be able to connect to the other people within the circuit. You see what I mean? Oprah could turn around and just make, with $100 million, she can put $10,000 on how many credit cards and just OD authorized use the whole black community. Everybody got authorized user from Oprah. Who you authorized? Oprah. You do the math. 10,000 into 100,000 is 100 people. You know, look, that's a lot of different people she can be helping. Every 6 months, I'm adding 60 people on $10,000 credit cards, y'all. Fix your life. Look at it. Fuck it up. She can do that. But it's because we don't have the information being transferred around us that our potential is being stifled. And this again is why I'm on this talk. Spread as much information. I don't have all the resources, I don't have all the pieces. I have this information, I'm running with it. Because it might be you, it might be you, it might be your tire shop, it might be your gas station. Sis, it might be your freaking hair salon back there. I mean, like, you know what, I need to invent a new type of bundle. And you don't know where it may come from. And so us having the information to flourish is extremely important. But just as much as it is important to have the information to advance and flourish, it's the information to defend. And that's why our community is being destroyed at. And by our own, unfortunately, a lot of our own people look just like us and say, oh, I'm going to help you out, brother, with your credit. I got you, man. Give me $700 up front. I'm going to set up your whole report. I'm going to put these letters together for you. You feel what I'm saying? Got you. It's wrong. Because right now, the government in and of itself is promoting nothing but free education in the world of credit. The government is paying each city to create, I just looked up Chicago, each city has the duty now to provide free education and for credit repair and debt validation. So debt collection companies have been running rampant in America. And most people have no clue about credit or the contractual law. So somebody like a debt collection company had a field day for the last 30 years. Calling people up, you're not allowed to call people you don't know. How many people student loans? How many people the government called up to purchase your student loan?
Yeah,
that's illegal.
Yeah, they just offer, they was like, yeah, if you put your million credit, nothing, give us 660.
Completely, all these different things, if you don't know the law, the government is acting as a debt collection company right now for student loans. Anyone practicing debt collection in any state is a debt collection company. The federal government has an EIN. Because of that, they're underneath the same laws. And this is why just last month, public reports were removed. It wasn't our community that sued the government, but it was regular white folks that said, hold on, you're putting my child support on my credit report? In order to have the right to post on my credit report, there are additional things that are needed. But the consent is first and foremost.
Okay, my name's David, and I enjoy being here. This is something that I really picked up, and the knowledge that I received is very beneficial for me and my son. Yeah.
Hey, watch it take over. All this shit that you see, we gon' make our way to the top. You can trust now, trust and believe. Watch us take over.